Hey everybody, it's Shannon. Great to see you all and trust that you're well and safe. I wanted to stay close this week and share some ideas and considerations that could help to shift your mindset because mindset is a really key thing right now for us to be very conscientious about, particularly as leaders. And I want to break down a word that we're all too familiar with right now, Corvid. I mean, when a disease goes from its street name like coronavirus to its scientific name like COVID-19, we know it's serious. When we're on lockdown and socially isolated, we know it's serious. So I think it's an opportunity for us to have some thought leadership and to think about how could we stay strong and resilient and lead by example in a trying time like this. So, acronyms are ways that people can remember things. So I figured since this is a word that we're all very acutely aware of, let's break this down into new meanings. So we're going to start with the letter C today. As many of you know, I'm a big fan of language and meaning and how could we look at things holistically and then differently. So today we're going to break down the letter C. And for all letters this week, we're going to look at a range. So there's a range of words that are associated with fear. And then there are words that are associated with leadership and strength. So we're going to look at both of those. I came up with a couple, and I'm going to look at my cheat sheet here. So on the fear side of things, the C's that we've been hearing are things like chaos, calamity. It's like a cancer. Cataclysmic, clueless, complicated, conflict, confusing, caution, corrosive, critical, crumble. We've heard the word crumble related to our economy, which is scary and fearful. So it's important for us as leaders to recognize that we are in choice. Choice is the operative word that we're going to focus on today. Because another way that we could start to see some of what's going on right now is on this road. And we can start to see these as opportunities to be calm. Calm. Like for those of you who have longed for time to meditate, now's the time to start that new habit. There's an app that I love called Calm. They have a daily Calm, and then they even have meditations by topic. Highly recommend Calm. I think they even have a free 30-day trial, which would be ideal for everyone right now. Community. What if we started to think about ourselves as members of a community? Like Jose Andres, for example. Jose Andres has a bunch of kitchens. I think it's 10 restaurants in the Washington, D.C. area. The company that he owns is called World Central Kitchen. What Jose has decided to do in this unusual time in our history is to close the restaurants to patrons and people who love his food as much as many people do, and turn them into community kitchens. Opportunities for people who can't otherwise find a meal are going to be able to eat in Jose Andreas's establishments for the near future. He hasn't decided a duration. But this is what somebody like Jose is doing in a time like this. He's choosing community. Caring. Another thing Jose is modeling. Caring. Thinking about who might need my help. Who is suffering right now? Who is not in a growth mindset who needs some support? Creative. I think this is a huge opportunity for us to demonstrate creativity as leaders. Like, how are we going to run our teams virtually? I know a lot of good resources that have been put out there recently. One from Penny this morning, a couple from Barclays went out about virtual working, dynamic working. Like, let's think about how can we demonstrate creativity to keep progress happening, to keep us moving forward, but to do it in a new way. This is stretching ourselves as leaders right now. Content. What if we chose to be content with our change in our schedule, with the openness in time that we now have, with the opportunities that we're given to be creative leaders? What if we chose to be content? Communication. This is an amazing time to demonstrate effective communication. Reach out to your people, help to give them direction. If they're not familiar with how to work from home, please provide some of the valuable resources that are available. If you need more, reach out to me and let me know. So how can we work on our communication so that we reduce the fear and we give people certainty, which is another C positive word for us to think about. How can we create certainty in a time of change and uncertainty? Connection. This is the most important time for us to be mindful of connection and connectivity because we're being told to be socially isolated, which makes sense for the pandemic, but it does not make sense for human happiness and joy. So we have to not just give up on connecting with people, but find new ways, creative ways, video conferencing, use Zoom, use FaceTime, send notes. I'll talk more about that later this week. Compassion. Let's have compassion for the less fortunate, like Jose does. Let's have compassion for those who are not in a position where they feel like they have a lot of choice, and let's find ways to support them. Conscientiousness. This is the time for us to be very mindful and conscientious about our behavior, our attitude. You know, our kids are learning from us, those of us who are parents, they're learning how to deal with uncertainty in this very unprecedented time in our human history from our behavior. Same thing with our employees. People are learning from us by example, so we have to be very conscientious. Another C is career. How can we use this time to think more about our careers holistically? What are some of the things that you've been dying to learn? Maybe you want to take a course in Coursera, another positive C word, which I will connect some of these links to this note so that everybody's got access to them. Coursera is free education. This is the time to think about your career in that way. Comfort. How can we find comfort in the uncertainty? What are the things that aren't changing? What are some of the things in your life that you now have an opportunity to do? The weather has been beautiful here in the Northeast. How can you find comfort in this time of pause, which is really what it is? Capable. What are you already capable of? Like your talents, your strengths. What are some of the things that just come naturally to you that you could leverage and offer and donate, volunteer your capability? And then clarify. You know, I think that this is a time where we could start to become more clear about where our priorities are, what our comfort is in uncertainty. And I really believe that how you do anything is how you do everything. So how you're responding to this right now is very much like how you respond to most things in your life. So if you tend in the past, if you used to be more of a fear-based reaction type of a mindset, now you have a choice because you can decide now that you want to do things differently. You want to approach things with a more open mind and a creative spirit. So the C that we're going to really zero in on right now is choice. Choice. So I want us to remember that every moment is a choice. Right now, it's a choice. How do you want to invest the rest of your day today? I'll be with you each morning this week, and please reach out with suggestions and ideas, and let just know that I'm a part of your community and we're all in this together. Cheers.